In this tutorial, we will update our JEE8 web application module that we generated from the Maven archetype to include a Hello World servlet, and in the process, we will learn more about creating, configuring, and running servlets. This is the high-level steps. First, we'll update the generated web application module. We'll introduce the Hello World servlet. Then we will map URLs to the Hello World web components. And then finally, we will run the Hello World servlet. Now back in Eclipse, and we look at our generated Hello World, and we see the web app is defined as version 4, and we have a welcome file list. And then we see we have an index.jsp that displays Hello World. So let's run it on Tomcat. And this is the Hello World ASP. We can look at a page source. Now let's go back to Eclipse. We will stop our server and remove the war. We will clean it up. So now we are going to add our actual servlet. We will need a Java folder. And in here, we'll create a new Java class. We'll update our package name to the branding. And we'll read what it tells us to do. And then we'll create the superclass. We use the version 4.01 superclass. And we select Finish. And this is what our generated servlet looks like. We'll add the default serial version ID. And we read the documentation here, and it says we have to at least override one of the following methods: to get, to post, to put, to delete, init, and destroy. So in our case, we'll probably do a do get and a do post. So let's start with do get. We import all the desired classes. Now we will do post. We'll leave it empty for now. We'll also do the init and destroy to manage the resources that are held for the life of the servlet. And here is our empty overrides. Now, since we are on version 4, we will no longer bother on defining the servlet and configuring it here in the web XML. We will do it straight in the code using annotations. And we see we specify it in the web servlet annotation, name, the URL, pattern, and we specify the order of the load on startup of this servlet. And now for some background information, we are going to look at the official Java Servlet API document. Let's start reading from here. Servlet is a small Java program that runs within a web server. Servlets receive and respond to requests from web clients, usually across HTTP. To implement this interface, you can write a generic servlet that extends Java Servlet generic servlet, or an HTTP servlet that extends HTTP servlet, and that's what we've done. And here we see the explanation. This interface defines method to initialize a servlet, to service request, and to remove a servlet from the server. These are known as lifecycle methods and are called in the following sequence. First, the servlet is constructed, then initialize with the init method. Any calls from clients to the service methods are handled. The servlet is taken out of service, then destroyed with the destroy method, then garbage collected and finalized. So back to Eclipse, and let's start with our hello world logic. We see this is our URL mapping. So we'll define our default user. Since we already have doGet being called from within doPost, we will add our servlet output form here. So you'll see in the form we get the user parameter. We check if it's null, and then if it is, we set it to default user. And we use the print writer to output an actual hello world form. And we'll see here it is a post form, and you enter your name and you submit it with the submit button. And we also see that it is mapped to hello world, which is our own mapping. And in order to better understand the flow of how a servlet is initialized and destroyed, we will add some console logging here. So let's run our newly updated Hello World servlet. And we go to our URL mapping. And we see the hello guest input form. If we look at our code, we can see that it maps our print writer output. And we'll enter a name and submit. And we see it comes back with the hello prompt with the name. And we see there is the hello username prompt. And looking at the console, we also see our log method here in the init method. And that concludes this tutorial. I will see you in the next one.